So the owl part should be very dry. If your other part's still wet, that's fine. We're gonna do some feathers now anyway.
We're using the big brush right now?
I'm going to start with the big brush, yes.
Okay.
So make sure that's dried off, clean and dry. So did I give you guys a paper plate with your kit this week?
No.
I didn't. Do you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is the darker blue, the darkest blue you have, we're gonna pour just a little bit in the plate.
You said the darkest blue?
Yeah, the darkest blue you have. Pour a little bit in the plate, and then you're going to take a little bit of black, very little bit, and mix that right in. So that should make your blue a little darker. So what we're going to have is we're going to make feathers, and as the feathers go up, they're going to get a little bit lighter.
So sorry. Can you tell me which colors you mixed again?
Yeah, you're going to take the darkest of the 3 blue,
Okay.
put some in your plate, and then take a very little bit of black.
Okay. Thank you, sorry.
Sure. And you're going to start on the bottom. And for the feathers, we're just going to press a little bit, move the brush up. You're going to press down and pull up a little bit. Now the middle is going to be white, so we're going to leave that middle open. And we'll fill in the middle later. So I would say go about halfway up your owl. And when you're finished, hold the brush, don't clean it or anything. We're going to keep going with this blue color. And you can see, I can still see some of the light blue behind. You're going to leave that for now.
It looks dark.
You think maybe you'd put too much black?
Yeah.
Just add more blue to that color you made. And then same brush with the dark blue still on it. You're going to take that darkest blue, the one that's still in the cup, and we're just going to add in between. So after that part, you should not see any light blue behind the feathers you just made. So do I have everybody with me so far? And then for the next one, you're going to take that medium blue I gave you. So not the dark one, not the light one, the one in the middle. And we're going to do the same thing. So you have that medium blue. What you're going to do first is go back to that dark blue and put some on your brush. And then dip it into that medium blue. And you're going to start doing the same thing. And this time we're going to go up to his neck. And then remember, we're leaving the middle for later. So your blue should be a little darker on the bottom and then a little lighter as you go up. And you can see, if you can see closely, I didn't smooth out any of the painting. It all looks like the brush just touched it. So that's going to give it a textured look. That'll make it look like the feathers. And then when you're done with that, we'll clean the big brush. And then we're going to, the same way we did the feathers, we're going to take white and we're going to fill in by his belly. But the same way we did the feathers, we're not just going to fill it in, we're going to put it in like the feathers. And then as you go, it may start to turn a little bit blue, that's fine. How's everybody doing with this? Because I know sometimes this can be a little difficult.
Yeah, it's hard.
But if you're having a hard time and you want to hold it up, I can look and try and guide you.
I'm having a hard time with my feathers.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking. So it looks like what you're doing is you're taking the paint and you're just like touching the canvas like this. You don't want to do that. You want to take the paint and actually make a line, like little lines.
Oh, okay.
And that should give more of a feather look.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. And then for the next step, we're going to clean the brush. We're going to add his eyes, which is going to be white. So we're going to make 2 circles. fairly large. And then we're going to move on to the small brush. So next we're going to do all the feathers on the owl's head, and we're going to do the small brush for that. And for the first part of the feathers on the bottom here, under where his mouth would be, we're going to pour some light blue on the plate. And then we're going to mix a little bit of the dark blue in there.
The darkest blue?
Yes. Not the dark blue that you made with the black, the one I gave you. So the point is just for the owl to be filled with all different kinds of blue. And once you have that blue, with the small brush, same thing, the feathers. I'm just going to start filling in. You can see, like I did here, I left some of that light blue behind. We're going to put some other blues in there later. Now, so far, all the feathers we've been making have been going downward. When we get between his eyes, we're going to start making the feathers go up. And then same thing with the ears. All the feathers should be going up. And you can still see some of my light blue behind. And then all that light blue that I have in between there, what you're going to do now is we're going to make another blue to fill that in. But we're just going to take the blues we already made. So the one we just made, we're going to take that and we're going to mix it with the dark blue that we made. Do you still have dark blue in your plate or is it dried up?
Yeah.
You only need a very little bit. And that's what you're going to use to fill in between. Now you guys have to be a little careful going around the eye, because if you pick the line too straight, your owl's going to look very evil. So you guys can see what I did here. It doesn't have to be the same exact blues that I have. You might have mixed it a little differently, but you can see that there are many different blues throughout the whole owl. And then you guys can clean your brush when you're done with that. And we're going to let our owl dry off a little, so we're going to start working in the background. So we're going to go back to the big brush. And we're going to take brown. And we're going to give him a branch to sit on first. So big brush, nice and dry, brown. And we're going to go straight across the bottom. Don't make it straight though, make it a little wavy. Not a perfectly straight line. Just underneath the owl. And then from that branch, we're just going to have one more coming out here. Now it depends on where you put your owl. I put mine a little closer to the bottom, so I'm not going to add another branch, but if you have a lot of room on the bottom, you want to put one more branch going down here. So this one I had him a little higher, so I was able to add that branch on the bottom. But if you don't have room, that's fine.